In this week's episode of One Piece, an epic battle is upon us between the dangerous Doflamingo and the creator of the culinary carnage, Sanji. As much as I love that final scene this week, and you guys have to admit, when Sanji just arrived out of the sky out of nowhere and did that flaming kick right into Doflamingo that would make even Captain Falcon envious, you gotta admit, that was badass. Capital B. But honestly, this episode was kind of a mixed bag. The first half of the episode had a lot of pacing issues, and they introduced a ton of these huge, muscle-bound D-list characters who do absolutely nothing in this episode aside from being introduced. And it's basically just an excuse to see how Rebecca and Cavendish are doing. Rebecca's doing fine, nothing that impressive. At least Cavendish gets to have a fight with one of his weird douchebaggy clones. So it's douchebag versus douchebag. At least the douchebag wins. The cool part of this episode is that Law actually reveals he never had Caesar Clown's heart. He actually just took a random Navy soldiers, and this gives him an excuse to make a really flashy escape with Caesar Clown in tow. And then Doflamingo starts chasing him, they're destroying the forest, and eventually Doflamingo sees the Straw Hat ship, and that's what leads to that final confrontation at the end of the episode, where Sanji just comes in and gives that badass kick, and it was really satisfying. I really hope this is going to lead to a really cool fight between them. I honestly don't think that Sanji's going to be able to defeat Doflamingo as much as I want him to, because I love Sanji and I would just love to see him just kick him right in the face and break his glasses right into his damn eyeballs. I just think it would be awesome. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of One Piece? I liked it. It was an okay episode, mostly for the second half. And pretty much all for that big Sanji scene at the end of this week's episode. I can't speak volumes for how much I loved that. And it really got me jumping out of my seat, because I just really needed an action scene like that. And honestly, even though this episode was kind of a mixed bag, that Sanji kick is probably my favorite moment of Dressrosa arc thus far. It was just really awesome, and it's going to be a grand confrontation between those two characters. But the first half of the episode just didn't do much for me. Like, they introduced all of these characters who had some pretty interesting designs. I just can't imagine they're going to do much with these guys in the future. And I couldn't really tell you too much about them because they don't get into them that much. I mean, there's a guy with a whip, there's a guy with a sword, there's a guy with a gas mask, but that's pretty much it. They mostly just focus on Rebecca and Cavendish, and that's just the way it is. But at the end of the episode, that was really clever how Law was able to escape, and that was really awesome how he was able to escape immediately, and then Fujitori's gravity just destroyed that rock there. That was really awesome. I just thought that was really cool, and you could definitely tell that the animation suddenly got better in that scene when compared to the first half of the episode. But that final scene, that's what it's all about this week. If you're following One Piece, check it out for that one scene alone. It'll get you pumped up, especially if you're an action fan, and especially if you're a fan of the big characters from One Piece. And it doesn't get any bigger than Doflamingo versus Sanji. So this week's episode gets a 7 out of 10, pretty much all for that final stuff at the end this week, and getting to see the cleverness of Law, how he was able to escape and switch hearts with Caesar Clown. I just thought that was awesome. So, 7 out of 10. Check it out, guys. Pretty good stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, make sure to hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. Really helps out our videos a lot. But the best way to help us out is to watch all of our videos and to subscribe to our channel. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. And hey, you heard me talking the whole video. I want to hear what you guys thought about this week's episode of One Piece. What do you think is going to happen in the battle between Doflamingo and Sanji? Alright guys, that concludes my review today. Super Kami Guru 9000. Peace out, dudes.